Please give a warm welcome to Lionel Foster.
So, my name is Lionel Foster, and I write for a living. And I understand that scares the pants off of you and a lot of my friends. I went to Johns Hopkins University. I know people who can split atoms, but they are afraid of commas. So I want to talk about that for a bit. If I had more time, I would have written a shorter letter. We speak well. So this is me trying to look writerly. I love my job. I mean, look at the cuffs there, just kind of cut. And I was waiting my whole life to take that picture outside of Urbanite's office. But that's what most people think about when I say that I write for a living. Again, I went to school with geniuses, but that is how they see me. I am not that guy. Again, so we speak really well, us human animals. But why do we have such a hard time writing? So this are stats from the National Assessment of Adult Literacy. The basic point here is that you see millions of Americans having loads of trouble with basic reading and writing tasks. And what we'll do now is compare speaking and writing. So these are just stats we use somewhere, you know, women a few more, men a few less, but many, many thousands of words per day. Why are we so good, again, at speaking and not writing? Forget all this text here. This is just some genius from MIT pointing out that most 3-year-olds are brilliant speakers. So by the age of 3, we're already speaking geniuses. And Steven Pinker from MIT has proof for that. Okay. Oh, wow. That last slide said that there's not much agreement on whether or not speaking and writing actually reside in the same parts of the brain. This is a famous guy with the awful quote, "Speaking in real time, you will soon see who this guy." It was Steve Jobs giving dap to Bill Gates there. But you see, they understood each other. When you write it out, as I did, he sounded like an idiot, but look how happy they are. So again, speaking and writing, apparently two very different tasks. And again, most of us are great at speaking until we think too hard about it, and this actually makes me feel a little self-conscious. Oh, I didn't know that was in there, sorry about that. I didn't. Speaking versus writing, I stole these from the University of Westminster, England. So when we speak, you know, most people acquire it. Spoken language has dialect variations, and whereas not everyone learns to read, actually, which we know, more differences. Speakers use their voices, writers have to rely on words, pauses, and intonation. So these just point out some of the nuances that go into speaking versus writing, and trying to get all of that onto the written page with grammar can be difficult. Speaking is often spontaneous and unplanned. When you write, you have to think in advance. Okay, I better say this exactly right now, so that a week from now my boss cannot misinterpret this. So there's so many things we can take for granted. When I'm up here in front of you just talking, you can look at my eyebrows, my body language, but you can't always appreciate all of that when I'm just writing something down. Speakers use simpler sentences connected by lots of ands, buts, like, you know, I mean, and when we went to the mall, and we help each other that way. But in writing, we tend to use much more complex grammar. So again, just laying out some of the basic differences, they jack my slides up when they put them on this computer, if that's all right. Speakers draw on their listeners' reactions to know how or whether to continue. I can just look out and know that, you know what, they get me. They're laughing at me at all the right spots. I'm golden. But when you just put that letter or email out into the world, this is just a bit, avid readers make better writers. So how do you improve your writing? If you are afraid of what I do, read good writers and pick up some of the tricks of their trade. I love this poem, even though it has Confederate in it. Don't pay attention to that. Plan ahead, outline. So, you know, think in paragraphs, think sentence by sentence. So in what order should the information come? Seems pretty basic, again, until you press send on that terrible email and get fired. I say sound check. I think a great way to know whether or not you'll be understood is to read what you've written out loud. Really, read it to yourself. I actually go through sometimes and read really important documents, last sentence first, out loud, to make sure it sounds right. And I think if you do all of these things, you will look more like him than that ink-stained wretch I showed you on slide 4 or so. And that's our goal. Thank you.